Hi, welcome to Lovin Sheila Shorts. Today I want to talk to you about self-centered love. Now that might be a bit of an oxymoron, like how do those two go together? But I think a lot of times we all enter into a self-centered love. The goal of our conversation today is to have a discussion about getting from what I want or what you want to transitioning to what together we can give one another. Sometimes I think we get so caught up on what we want and what another person brings to the table that we lose sight of what we can give to the relationship. And I'll be frank with you. I've spent the last few years since my divorce analyzing what someone can bring me, how they won't re-traumatize me. There's always room for growth. And I've been working on evolving and growing and getting better and constantly looking at different things. And so now I want to talk to you a little bit about love and getting away from self-centered love. Yes, I've talked about agape love and eros love in the past, but as we grow, we get new insights and new revelation, and I want to share that with you. First, let's go back a little bit, and then we'll get to where I think we want to transition to. Oftentimes, I think self-centered love comes from a bit of I'm the prize. So you're gonna have to show up and you're gonna have to show me everything that you have to offer before I give you the prize. We'll come back to that a little bit. But I think that's what it really amounts to. If you want someone to come and tell me everything that you're gonna offer me, what all you have to bring to the table, what you can do for me. At the same time, we're kind of withholding a little bit just because we're like, okay, show me. Because I'll be honest, I've been definitely in the show me status before. So show me before I open up, before I put myself out there, before I put all my cards on the table, lay my heart on the line, any cliche you want to put out there. Show me what you're working with. Show me what you have to offer me. And then after I see that, and who knows how long that takes, after I see that, then I'll determine if I want to be vulnerable and expose myself to you, offer you my love. Though it was never meant to be, I'm the prize, earn me, that's, I think, how it really plays out. And truthfully, this should be set up to where two individuals are both winning the prize, if you will, because we should both be getting and giving something in this. And if we're doing it right, and right is always relative, but if we're not entering into this with a self-centered love or a self-centered relationship or a one-sided relationship, if we do it right, we come up two winners and two prize recipients. So go with me on this journey, this short journey, if you will. Dating has been set up to where you're proving yourself to me. I know sometimes we say we're proving when we meet someone, when we're talking, but oftentimes it seems that proving is going one way and it's one-sided. So I'll speak for myself. I've dated, and I have my little 4-month rule, and in this time, it's like, am I really giving everything I can give? Am I really putting myself out there? Am I really putting my cards on the table? Is my heart on the table, or am I just watching and observing and waiting possibly for you to mess up and for me to have an aha moment and say, yeah, I got you, before I made any type of commitment. So I have to examine myself. I mean, I still believe in taking the time to get to know a person before you make serious commitments to them. But at the same time, how you do it is important. And so I'm going to look at myself and look at what I have brought to the table during this period, because I think I could have been better. I think I could have put more on the table. I could have opened my heart a little bit more. I could have been less guarded. But what happened was, during this 4 months, I kept every guard up, and it was incumbent upon whomever the suitor was to knock those walls down. And I think that's really putting a person at a disadvantage, and I don't think it's coming completely to the table. So that's how I feel dating has been set up, and it's kind of been unfair, and for that reason it makes it somewhat self-centered. For me, it was all about you showing me what you have to offer, what you bring to the table, painting the picture of what my life could be like with you. And then from there, I would make a decision when really we're both making decisions. But I was never bringing what I had to offer to the table because I was withholding it because I had to determine if you were worthy to receive it. And I just some kind of way feel like that's a little backwards, and I haven't thought this through. I've just been in my rest period, and these are the things that were on my mind, and I wanted to come to you and talk to you about it because I haven't worked through all the details, but somehow I don't feel that that is fair. For I have a son, and I would not want him to have to sit up and jump through every type of hoop available in order for a girl to determine if she was interested in him. And so likewise, I had to evaluate myself and say, is that what I am doing? And if so, how can I be better? How can I correct it? This behavior was never my intention, but my standards, my boundaries, and everything that I had done while doing the work set up walls that were impenetrable, set up a wall that I didn't allow people to enter into and get very close to me without showing me quite a bit. And some fell by the wayside, some decided they loved me anyhow, but in retrospect and looking back, I don't think that I was fully showing up. I have to be accountable for that because I'm not a person who wants to play games. And I don't think we should. It's not my testimony of what I've done. I'm saying this because if you are doing the same thing as me and thinking that, we're just getting it together and we're just grounded and we figured it out. I think we have figured it out to a degree, but in our soft girl era, which is where I plan to reside, as my delicate flower, I think the delicate flower needs to open up a little bit. And I think that it can be determined a safe place, before 4 months or whatever, at least so they can see a little bit of who you are and what you have to offer, because I think it is important for a person to know that. And so I've been guilty of withholding that, of not sharing, of not communicating. And that's where I'm saying I could have done better. I gave very little, and I found myself constantly evaluating, constantly critiquing, to where I couldn't even be present in the moment because I was constantly evaluating. Do they measure up? Are they worthy? Should I release myself to fall in love? All these things were prohibiting me from moving forward. And maybe I lost some opportunities, some good opportunities, or maybe I landed just where I needed to be. But at the same time, I'm just looking back at my own behavior. And as I'm trying to work through this, and I'm trying to learn and grow and be a healthy person, a person that someone would meet and not be traumatized by, that they would not have to go to therapy after they dated me. That's the person I'm trying to be. So as I look back on some of my ideas and my behaviors, I just feel there are areas where I could have done better. And part of that is just knowing that it's not just about me. It's not just a self-centered love. You proving to me that you can love me, or I would even think of that Mario song, "You Should Let Me Love You." Like I have no responsibility outside of letting you love me. And I think I approach dating in that way to a certain degree. I believe that people deserve to be treated better than that. And so that's why I'm taking accountability and thinking there is so much room for growth. And I've seen and I've loved and I've done so much, but I haven't always been right. I just want to go back to love because I know in my efforts to protect myself, in my efforts to not end up in the same place as I was before, I corrected, I changed so many things about how I approach relationships. And you really just adjust until you find the right spot, until you hit your groove. And that's, I think, where I am right now. I feel like I've hit my groove. I feel like, okay, I get it. I mean, I've talked to Dr. Bauckham and I had the discussion. I've been reading books, I've been reading my word, I've been trying to get it all together and put it all together so that I can be the best version of me, the most lovable, and also able to give love freely. And so let's talk. This is my evolved version. Let's put a bunch of things together. Let's talk about love again. Again, I'll say we're constantly evolving, we're constantly changing, we're constantly growing. And in that, I'm doing evaluation. I'm looking back over my experiences and I'm saying, yeah, seeing how I could have done this better, I could have done that better, or was I really on the level in this area, or was I full of baloney? I'm looking at all that. And just like in a game at halftime, you watch the video and you make adjustments and you pivot when necessary, and you might have to change the game plan. That's what I'm doing as I approach relationships and falling in love and all of those things, I have to include the new information I have. I thought they were going to use this playbook, and they did a different one. Now I have to adjust. I have to change my game plan. So I'm putting in all the data, gathering all the data. And first of all, I know from 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 8, charity suffereth long and is kind, it does not envy, does not vaunt itself, it's not puffed up, does not behave unseemly, seeketh not their own, is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil, rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoices in truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and endureth all things. That's love. That's love, and that's what love includes according to the Word of God. And the Word of God also says, for God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son. And so what I get from all of that is, first of all, accept some degree of acceptance, appreciation, just, I want to say just love, but I think it speaks for itself. But also when you love, you give. And that's important to note, I think, because I know that I've approached to love me. What are you going to give me? But at the same time, that's the self-centered love. I want to enter into a place where it's mutual and like I receive, but I'm also giving, and we're working together. And it's not one-sided. It's not self-centered. It's not someone constantly proving to me that they're worthy of me, but that we're working together. Like Dr. Bauckham said, building the we. And so I think in a lot of my own relationships, I can only speak for myself, I did not build the we. I always had there was always an element of that where I was making sure that they were taking care of me. Since my divorce, there's always been a lot of she, because I was very mindful to make sure that I was taken care of and I was seen in any relationship I had. But I think that was a response to my trauma. And so now I have to get to the place where it's not just me, it's not just, like I said, she, it's we. And that's what I want to build toward. And building toward that is not, are you worthy? Pass all of my tests and we'll see what I can do for you or what I can give you. Really a humbling experience to realize that, yes, I need to give and to be like God. And He is constantly giving, whether it's forgiveness, love, mercy, favor, He's constantly giving. And that's love. And so that's the type of love that we want to have in our relationships. And I just want to put us in remembrance of that. We often talk about love languages. And it's interesting because love languages, I totally believe, depending on where you are in your life, they can change. For years, my love language was acts of service, with words of affirmation being a really close second. Well, today I decided, let's take this test again. I found that words of affirmation were my love language, and acts of service wasn't that close of a second, not as close as words of affirmation were previously. But based on where I was in my life at that time, I really needed help. I had a son, I had responsibilities. I was working full time and trying to manage a marriage, and I needed help. And so acts of service was the way to my heart. But now I don't have all that responsibilities. My son is grown and he's away at college. I'm an empty nester, and now I'm here for the words of affirmation. And I may have polluted that by making everyone work so hard to get my attention or work so hard to get my affection. But I'm here to grow and to learn from this. And so in that part, I just want to say that what may have been your love language 10 years ago may not be. So go back to 5lovelanguages.com and take the test. It's only 30 questions. Take the test and you'll see what your love language is. Question is, what's the most important love language? And we might say, oh, well, it's acts of service and giving is not that important, or whatever. We might say something like that. But I think the message behind what's the most important love language is, it's not yours, it's your partner. Because I'm not speaking to my partner in my love language. I'm not offering words of affirmation all day long, and because that's my love language. And your partner's love language might be touch, it might be gifts, it could be anything. But the most important, and to make sure that you are reaching that person, is to speak to them in their language. So the most important language, love language, is their love language. So key in on that. And if they key in on it as well, everybody's fine and everyone's love tank is doing well. Try and focus on that. Remember, it's about giving. Love gives. Love is not self-centered. Even though I've been self-centered, I focused on how one can love me and whatnot, but that's not love. And so I want to really lean into that. I previously talked about Peck's definition of love, the will to extend oneself for the purpose of nurturing another's spiritual self. Essentially, to uplift another, to extend yourself, to be of service, to do whatever you can to nurture, to help them grow, to help them to become the best version of themselves, to give and to support them in that. I like to call it their nurturing their soul, their mind, their will and emotions, everything attached to those things that you're giving. Support it, grow it, and just overall just magnify it. Again, the message I want to leave you with today is love is not self-centered. Love is giving. From the Word of God, from 1 Corinthians, to the words of Dr. Bauckham, the words of Dr. Peck. It's going to give. It's going to care about another person's soul and the things that concern them. So if we're concerned about our boundaries and our standards and 6'4" and 220 or whatever the case, whatever it might be, if that's love, if he has to be that to love, then that's not love. There might be cathexis, but it's not love. It might be lust, but it's not love. It might be chemistry, but it's not love. So let's not confuse love with all these things. Let's know that love is giving. Love is from our heart. Love is pure. It wants good for you. It wants to see you flourish. Concentrate on that as we're working through our relationships and we're navigating dating and courtship. Not about a person just proving that themselves to you and that they can provide you the lifestyle that you want and give you the things that you want. It's about their heart. It's about their ability to give, their ability to love, their ability to see you. It's about your ability to reciprocate and to do those things for them as well. At the end of the day, it's a situation where we are both winners. It's not you're the prize and I'm grateful or I'm the prize and you're grateful. It's we are both winning and we are building something sustainable. We are growing. We are putting in work because it takes work, because we're not going to be at the same level forever. We have to work and we have to spend time together and we have to get to know each other. We have to invest in one another. But I just want to make known that love is so much more than just connecting and physical attraction. It's what we have inside of us, what we want to give to this person who is the object of our love. And another thing I want to go back to, when I talked to Dr. Bauckham and we talked about love languages a little bit, and he said, I was saying how someone had once told me how, I wasn't filling their love tank and blah, blah, blah. And he said that was weaponizing it, because the purpose of love languages is not to tell you, oh, you're not giving me words of affirmation and you're not doing this. It's so that you can speak their language. You want to know it so you can speak their language. We're not weaponizing it. If we're doing it only to get what we want, then we are being manipulative, and that's not what we want. Use this knowledge for good, to bring about the best in both of us, to have stronger and healthier relationships. That's the goal here. But most importantly, to have a healthy love. So meditate on that. That's what I'm meditating on, and just trying to be a better person, trying to show love fully and the way God intended. I hope this resonates with your soul today. I hope it encourages you. I hope it may move you from some self-centered doctrine to a doctrine that is more open and willing to give, because that's what I think we are put here for, to give love, to show love, as well as to be loved. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next Lovin Sheila. Bye for now.